he got a call, you have to be in court next week because you're being charged with conspiracy to commit fraud.
He's been more than a grandfather to me. He's really been a father figure.
Mr. Persley is my granddad, and he's been a really important part of my life as in sort of a mentor role.
My dad is one of the most honest people I've ever known in my life, and I know I'm biased because I'm his daughter, but anyone will tell you that.
I know that there were a lot of high caliber high schools and colleges that had given him offers to work.
He chose to work in the South Central, the most dangerous area of Los Angeles.
And these kids that looked so tough in the hallways would melt when they walked into the classroom, and they'd see my grandpa and they'd hug him.
And he became a father to these kids. And there are so many rival gangs that were in his class, and somehow when they were in the class they got along.
For him, doing that was his life's work, because it wasn't just teaching, he was also there to be there for these kids in this very kind of violent and dangerous environment.
We found out that my parents, or my dad rather, was supposedly implicated in a conspiracy to commit fraud. There was an investor in Missouri. He sent my dad appraisal orders just like he sent other appraisers orders. My father didn't know that this man supposedly had been laundering money. They threw out an umbrella and basically pulled in anyone and everyone associated who had done work with them or associated with them, and my dad was one of them.
One of the most crazy things about this is that my granddad isn't going to be tried individually, but everybody gets tried together in a big pool. The truth is, ever since the big financial crisis, the federal government has been on a huge witch hunt because they want the voters to feel like, you know, they're getting things done. And though there were a lot of awful things that happened during the financial crisis, a lot of innocent people are now getting sucked into it, and that includes my granddad.
It's just been really, really scary because we feel completely powerless. You know, I didn't want to do this. In order to save him, we were going to have to come up with $100,000, which nobody had, you know. And if not, we were going to be stuck with the public defender they had assigned him, who was useless. I mean, she wouldn't even have a meeting with him before he showed up in court that day.
Forever. So they drained all of their savings to get a retainer for the attorney that they have now, trying to defend for something he never even did. It's just terribly frustrating.
So then they start saying, okay, well, if you take a plea, we'll knock off this many points. If you testify against someone else, we'll knock off more points. And so that lessens your sentencing time. And they came back once and asked him, you know, if you'll take a plea, we'll give you a year instead of 4 years. He said, no, I'm not going out and saying I did something I didn't do. Then the last offer was 6 months. And he said, no, I'm not going out saying I'm guilty when I didn't do anything.
The best case scenario for this innocent man is that he will have emptied all of his retirement, every single dollar he's saved up his whole life for, just to pay for an attorney to defend against something he didn't even do.
I really want to believe that in this day and age, a man can refuse to compromise and still come out on top. But I'm not sure. I think that in order for that to happen, he needs to have support from people who also believe in the power of truth.
I can't imagine any circumstance that would cause me to cop a plea. None whatsoever. If I thought in my heart that I was guilty or nearly guilty in some way, I might consider it. But I can't do that to myself. I'm 84, and so whatever I have left is precious, and I'm not going to just waste it by disgracing myself with by actually lying and saying that I did something which I didn't do. Okay. Thanks, God.